if they don't make it to the finals, then this might be one of the biggest L's in NBA history.
Hot topics.
Embiid never had the mentality to win a championship. I don't think he ever will win a championship.
The best analysis.
But Jokic, he might be the best player in the league this season. He really might be the MVP.
This is the Full Court Report.
And we're back.
Oh, yeah.
Episode number 16. Toby's here today.
Yeah, shocker.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Feels good to be back.
Yeah, I'm sure you noticed, Toby, and I played it last week, the new intro. I had to switch it up a little bit because I figured Tyrese Halliburton hasn't really had the best of season so far, so I figured I'd change it up.
All right, I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah. Ironically, you watched your Nets lose to the Sixers yesterday.
Without Embiid.
Yeah, so there you go. Maybe, I don't know, a little foreshadowing or something.
Yeah, we'll get into it a little bit.
Yeah, we will indeed. But this was something Justin actually wanted to talk about, and I think this is a good topic because, we got to pay our respects. No one passed away. I probably shouldn't say it like that. But James Harden, he achieved something pretty amazing here. He moved to second place all time on the 3-pointers list this past Sunday. He passed Ray Allen. Ray Allen has 2,973 3-pointers in his career. Harden is now second all time, trailing only Steph Curry by, I think, like 900 3-pointers. So the odds of him catching Curry probably not likely, but still a very impressive feat. James Harden. Yeah, I don't know. I figured we'd just use this time a little bit to kind of talk about James Harden as a whole, his career, what you guys think, the impact he made on the NBA, and kind of just open up the conversation.
Well, I think I want to start it off by just giving this guy his props. He's one of the most unguardable players in NBA history. Just deadly ISO threat. Guy could really get a bucket on anybody. And on, a more grand, stage, he's revolutionized the sport. I would say he's almost as influential as like Kobe and Steph and Bron. You can't be a successful offensive player in the league without having a step back, without just having a good ISO game. And I think James Harden is, he has a pretty big, he's the reason that a lot of people have the certain types of games that they have nowadays. For guards especially, you need to be able to create space over bigger defenders. You need to know how to draw fouls, get to the line. And James Harden is a big reason for a lot of players and how they play. Like Darius Garland has a good step back. I think he tries to model his game off of James Harden. And even myself, I work on my step back when we go and play at the park, and it was all because of James Harden. I had never seen anybody do a shot like that until James Harden was over there in Houston. But speaking of his time in Houston, that's where, he's had the best part of his career. He didn't, hasn't really had a bad part of his career. He's always been an all-star caliber player, no matter where he's been at. But, man, if Chris Paul had just played that game 7 in 2018, beat the Warriors in the Western Conference Finals, I think the Rockets would have went on to win it all, honestly. Even over LeBron, I really think that the Rockets could have got her done. But with that being said, if Harden had even just one ring, if he had just one championship, I think you got to give him the nod and put him over D Wade as second best shooting guard of all time, in my opinion.
Wow.
Um, but yeah, just kind of some career accolades that I have here in my notes. MVP in 2017-18 when the Rockets won 65 games and he averaged 35 and a half and almost 9 assists. He had been top 5 in MVP voting 5 separate times, including 3 second place finishes. So he's almost been a 4-time MVP. The only times he's finished in second was Steph's unanimous MVP, Russ averaging a triple double, and when Giannis had won 60 games with the Bucks and Giannis won the MVP. So, pretty good competition up there in the MVP race, but the second place finish nonetheless. And to be honest, for me, the only two negative aspects of his career was that he was known as a lazy defender, not even a bad defender, just a lazy defender, didn't really put in a lot of effort. And he had very little playoff success. Only, well, not only, but he had been to the conference finals 4 times and he'd only made the finals once in his career. So, we
And
would
that
have
was
liked to
with
see it.
the Thunder, right?
Yeah, yeah, and he wasn't even really the guy on that team. Not to say that he was a bum, but he had Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook carrying most of that load. But yeah, I felt like just as a career, very respectable. As a individual player, one of the deadliest, just one of the most lethal scorers the game's ever seen.
All right.
Toby, I'm
Think
sure
I
you have plenty of positive things to say about James Harden.
No, I'm gonna give him his flowers. I agree with a lot of what Justin said, and I also think that if that OKC team would have stayed together, like even just a couple more years, they probably would have won a chip with those three on the team. Uh, but I mean, this he literally changed the game, like Justin said, offensively, probably easily top 10 offensive player of all time. The step backs, the Euro steps, the drawing of fouls, which a lot of techniques involved with that. But I do gotta say, I think Kobe was spot on when he said like a player like that, if he's running his team, it's never gonna compute to a championship. And we've seen that in OKC. I mean, I think they could have made the finals. I don't know if they would have beaten LeBron that year with Chris Paul on the team. But um, I still gotta give James Harden respect, even after what he did to with the Brooklyn Nets. Uh, I still respect his game. I think he's still a great passer and offensive leader. Never was there on defense. He didn't hustle a lot. You know, he was basically a cone most points in his career. But he still, he got a lot of rebounds, obviously. And I would say, I think, Justin, I think you're right. I think he's probably number 3 shooting guard of all time. If he had a ring or two, he probably would be number 2 behind Michael Jordan, obviously.
Yeah, well, no, I forgot about Kobe. So he's third. I would say if he had the ring, he'd be third over D Wade behind Kobe and Jordan.
He might be. No, I'm not even going to say that. All right, you're right. You're right. But do I think he can win a ring with the Clippers? Probably not. I don't think this is their year. Philly, he helped them out in the playoffs a little bit. Yeah, I gotta give respect where it's due. James Harden is
Well,
one of a kind player.
I actually have quite a bit of notes on his time in Philly. I really think that that one year when it was him, Maxey, and Embiid, that they should have done a lot better than they did, I feel like, because Harden and Embiid in my opinion, should have went down as one of the greatest duos we've ever seen in the NBA. A lot of the reason why I didn't think it worked out as well as it should have is because they had Doc Stinkers running the show, Doc Rivers. They had Doc Rivers running the show, and him and Daryl Morey ran that guy out of Philly. If we're being honest, I mean, I think Daryl Morey should have given him that extended contract, the 4-year deal that he wanted. Daryl Morey was only trying to offer him 2. And I don't really understand why. Harden wanted to be a Sixer. Those two, already had a relationship from Harden's time in Houston. I don't really know why Daryl Morey didn't give him the contract that he wanted. I think he deserved it at that point in his career. And him and Embiid would have been a crazy duo. They would have been kind of cheesy with 50 free throws a game out of those two alone. But
So do you think they could have won a ring if Nick Nurse was coaching them?
perhaps, just Harden said it himself, bro. You don't put Harden in a system, he is the system. Like, if I mean, he didn't have the greatest amount of help over there in Houston. He had Chris Paul and Clint Capella, and I mean, he made Clint Capella look like an all-star, if we're being honest. That guy was a fringe all-star for one of those years in Houston. I feel like if he had the roster in Philly and he had Mike D'Antoni as the coach in Philly, I think they probably could have won something.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it definitely. I mean, we'll see. He's obviously still playing. There's still a chance he can win a ring somewhere, but it's hard to say. But Harden is one of my favorite players ever. I think of this era, probably outside of maybe like LeBron. He's probably my favorite. I also have a couple of just notable things that he did throughout his career. He led the NBA in scoring 3 times, 3 consecutive years. And then he also led the league in assists twice. He's one of 2 players to win an MVP and a 6th Man of the Year award. The only other is Bill Walton. He has 23 50-point games, which is 4th most all time, behind Wilt Chamberlain, who had 118, Jordan with 31, and Kobe with 25. He never finished below 500 in his career. He's never finished below 500 in any season of his career, which is very impressive. And he's one of 7 players to lead the NBA in points per game and assists per game at one point during their career. That's LeBron, Wilt, Russell Westbrook, Nate Archibald, Jerry West, and Oscar Robertson.
What up, Tiny?
Very elite company James Harden is. And I think it's funny, we classify James Harden as like a shooting guard where, I mean, like, I totally understand why, but I think it's just the way he played in Houston a lot of those years. Like, I think Patrick Beverley was like his starting point guard for the most part up until he got Chris Paul, and then Westbrook was there for like 1 year, I think. But I felt like he was the point guard so much in that offense, right? Like, he led the league in assists twice, like I mentioned. So, I don't know. I just think that's, I mean, I'm not saying, where does he rank all time as point guard or anything, but I just think it's funny. Like, he's definitely unique in that sense where he can play off the ball, but also is very capable of running the entire offense just by himself. But there's one game I think I'll never forget James Harden. This was in 2019. It was when he was still in Houston against the Golden State Warriors. This was when they had KD. This game, Chris Paul was out as well as Eric Gordon, so like 2 really big pieces to that Rockets team at the time. The game was in Golden State. The Rockets, they were down 17 at halftime, and Houston stormed back, in the second half. They forced OT, and I'm sure this is kind of I guess a notable clip that you may have seen. Kevin Durant, there was like 30 seconds left in the game. and the ball is kind of like sailing out of bounds, and KD goes to save it. His entire body is out of bounds. Like every part of his body is out of bounds, and he saves the ball, and it ends up in the hands of Steph. He hits like a mid-range jumper, and they go up 2 points, I think. And I remember watching this game live and being like, that might have been the worst no call I've ever seen in my life. Like, they replayed it. Reggie Miller, I think, was on the broadcast. He's like, he's out. He's totally out. What are they doing? How do you miss that? The ref is standing right there. And I'm like, wow, this is like prime time ref, like cheese for the Golden State Warriors if I've ever seen it. I'm like, wow, the Rockets are really going to lose this game because of that. Needless to say, Harden, his heroics on the final possession, or I think the second to last possession, they basically just gave him the ball. He gets double teamed and throws up a three over Clay and Draymond, and he drills it, and they win the game. And I'm like, yep, James Harden was not going to lose this game off of that. And I was like, wow, dude. He finished the game with 44 points, 15 assists, and 10 rebounds. So I don't know. Like, to me, that's like the pivotal James Harden. Like, that's just what I think of James Harden. Just, he's always going to go out there and give it his all. Like, yes, there's some questions, like maybe about his defense or whatever, but I never have ever questioned like Harden's, I guess, competitive spirit. I guess like he's always up for any fight against any team. Like, he'll go to war with, and like it doesn't matter who his teammates are. I think in that game it was like Austin Rivers, like PJ Tucker, like nobody really notable, you know. Like, he was out there going up against maybe the best team ever constructed, and he was like, I'm gonna do everything I can to win this game. So yeah, man, I don't know. James Harden, a warrior, not literally, but a warrior, a trooper, and yeah, one of my favorite players ever.
Yeah. I've really never seen anything like it. That one season, dude. That not even just that one season. It was multiple seasons. 60-point triple doubles, 50-point triple doubles. You know, it's just my career numbers, bro. There's no other way to say it. It's video game numbers. He's one of a kind. He really is one of a kind.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. And again, congratulations passing Ray Allen on the all-time threes list. So shout out Harden, and you know, he's still doing some things with the Clippers, still having a pretty solid season right now. And this is his 16th season in the league, I believe. So yeah, man, still trucking along. But yeah, like we said, just wanted to hit on James Harden, congratulate him a little bit. But I think I mentioned this last week. I wanted to talk about the NBA Cup, the Emirates NBA Cup that's been ongoing. Most teams at this point have played 2 or 3 of their 4 group stage games, as they call them. And once those are up, the quarterfinals, they will start on December 10th. And the championship game for the NBA Cup will be played in Las Vegas on December 17th. I guess I can just explain a little bit how this works for those who are not familiar. So teams, they play every Tuesday and Friday from November 12th to December 3rd. Like I said, like if you've seen those groups, I don't know all of them off the top of my head, but you know, they'll announce like what group every team is in. Each group has 5 teams. So from these group stages, 8 teams will make it to the quote unquote knockout round. So that's the winningest team in each group. And then there's 2 wild cards, one from each conference. And then once you get to the quarterfinals, those games will be played, you know, in their home arenas of the teams with the best record from these group stage games. And then the semifinal and championship game is played at a neutral court in Las Vegas. And the reason why I guess this is such a big deal for a lot of these players and teams is because if you do win this championship game, you get a $515,000 bonus. I think the losing team gets like $200,000 for each player. So again, these games, they got a little extra juice to them. That's, I think, why a lot of these players feel so inclined to, go out and win these games. But I think this is a pretty cool concept. This is obviously the second year of the NBA Cup. The Lakers won it last year. But I don't know. I guess figured we get your overall thoughts on, the new in-season tournament and who you guys think is going to win this year.
Toby, I'll let you do your thing.
All right. I mean, I think it's in-season tournament's pretty cool. When it first started, I wasn't too much of a fan. I was just like, what's the point? Like, this isn't the playoffs. This isn't the NBA finals. But I recognize that it does give the players something more to play for, especially if you're on a team. I mean, most teams think they can make the finals, but if you're on a team that, may not reach that level, I think it's a good way to kind of be a little bit more competitive. This year, I think one team that I think has a really good chance of making it all the way is the Orlando Magic. So far in the NBA Cup standings, I think they're 2-0, and they play. I think they actually play the Nets next Cup game, and then the Knicks after that. So if they can beat the Nets, which honestly they probably should, and they can take care of business against the New York Knicks, I think they can. I think they can do some damage in the bracket games. And Franz Wagner, he's been killing it recently. That guy's been on fire. Paolo's obviously doing his thing. And then out of the West, I think the Golden State Warriors are probably my team. The Lakers, they're 2-0 so far, I think, as well. But I believe they play the Suns and somebody else. I can't remember. It would be cool to see LeBron win his second cup game and I guess take home that accolade if, however much that counts for. But I think the Warriors, Steph Curry can take the cup this year. And I'm not a huge fan of the courts. I know it's a dumb thing, but I think the courts suck.
Well, you saw it yesterday, right? When you're in Philadelphia. So
yeah, Sixers versus Nets cup game, bright blue court, and yeah, I think the Nets don't stand a chance as far as the cup goes. But those Sixers, they kind of surprised us a little bit yesterday. But it is what it is.
Well, Toby, I really like the in-season tournament. I don't want to say that the first 20 games of the regular season are pointless, but this definitely helps bring a lot of competitiveness and, feistiness in these games. I think the players enjoy it. From what I can tell, the players enjoy it. And as a fan, I love it. I think it's great. I still don't really understand how the groups work because it's not based off of just divisions. Like they mix up the teams. So I don't really understand how that works and what makes up the groups, what decides the groups. But obviously the Knicks are winning the cup. Like I don't know what we're talking about here. Obviously the Knicks are winning the cup. And yeah, I don't really love the courts, especially the Knicks one. The Knicks one is bright orange, so that's kind of, just an eyesore. Um, I feel like the orange and any red court are just not pleasant to look at. Like the blue one, that Sixers one really wasn't too bad, if you ask me. Um, the Nets actually have a nice cup court because it's just like gray, I'm pretty sure, so that's not too bad. But I really like it. I think it's fun. Um, yeah, that's really all I got. Yeah.
well, you mentioned like the how these groups are formed. So it's just based on the record from the previous regular season. So they take the top like 3 teams in each conference and they split them up, and then they, go through like 4 through 6. Then they put those guys in a group, 7 through 9, and then so on and so forth. So they try and like even it out based on like how they finished last year, but it's cool because obviously teams can improve from like over the course of an off season, and then some groups are way more competitive than others. Like for example, like West Group C right now, it's the Nuggets, Mavericks, Pelicans, Warriors, Grizzlies. Like last year, the Grizzlies didn't have the best record because of all their injuries. The Warriors, kind of same thing, but those 2 teams have been very solid this year to start the season. So it's pretty cool. Sometimes you get a group that's really competitive. Other times, a group might not have the most competitive teams, but I think one of the tiebreakers, because they only play 4 games to determine like who can make it to these knockout stages, but one of the tiebreakers is point differential. So at the end of games, you'll see like teams try and run up the score, because you never know, right? Like, you might win the game, but if another team outscores their opponent by like a couple more points, then you're not going to be able to make the tournament. So I think that happened in a Cavaliers game where they hit like 2 threes and a layup in like the last like 30 seconds of a game. I was like, oh, wow. Normally this would be an issue, but because I guess it's the NBA Cup, these guys don't really seem to care. But no, I've enjoyed it so far. I think there definitely is a level of a higher competition level with some of these games. And I think once you get to those knockout stage games, then that's really when they buckle down, and it kind of looks like a playoff atmosphere, which is cool. But I think I agree. I think the Warriors, I feel like last year the Pacers were, just like that team that got off to a really hot start. I think the Warriors are kind of doing the same thing. They seem really connected right now. So I think I wouldn't be shocked if they made it to the championship game. And this is kind of I don't know, a crazy take maybe, but I'm going to say the Milwaukee Bucks. I'm going to say the Milwaukee Bucks. I think they're starting to figure it out. I'm not saying like they're going to be, a title contender by the end of the season, but they've had some solid wins recently. They beat the Rockets. Although I was watching that game, they probably shouldn't have won that game, but at the end of the day, they did get a win. They beat the Bulls, and then they beat the Pacers, I believe last night in the NBA Cup game. They play Miami and Detroit, their final 2 Cup games, both road games, so it could be a little tough. But I feel like, again, I think they're starting to figure it out. Giannis obviously has been fantastic this season, but I think just, the Doc Rivers, he's kind of tweaking the lineup a little bit, getting some more guys in there, getting some more minutes. I think this team is starting to find a groove, find their confidence. So, again, I think really at the end of the day, it comes down to just like which team is playing the best at this point in the season. And I think this is also just something like, if you go out there and win the in-season tournament, I think that does give a team a little bit more motivation, for the rest of the season. So, we just won this tournament. Who's to say we can't go out there and dominate in the playoffs? So I think this would be a huge boost for a team like Milwaukee that got off to a slow start. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to be Bucks Warriors. I don't know. I just feels like that's what it's going to be. We'll see.
That would be a cool finals.
Yeah. Yeah. You get Giannis, you get Steph Curry, 2 marquee names in the league. But we'll see. And anything's possible. Obviously, there's a lot of
you can see it. You can see it in the username. Jalen Brunson and Cat are the deadliest duo in the league. Nobody is stopping them. They're about to win this NBA Cup, and
Yeah,
they're about
okay,
to win the championship.
We'll see. There's a long ways to go. The Knicks are starting to figure it out too, which is cool to see. But
Shout out OG, bro. Shout out OG Anunoby. He's been playing amazing. He's been playing great these last couple of games.
yeah, and Karl-Anthony Towns too, having a career year. So a lot to be happy about in New York. But again, my pick, I'm gonna say the Bucks. I'm gonna say the Bucks, and I'm gonna say Golden State. And if I had to pick a winner, chicken dinner, I'm gonna say Golden State. I just feel like
Good choice. Good choice.
they're playing lights out right now. They just seem like they can do no wrong. The defense has been really good. And yeah, I mean Steve Kerr again, just
Steve Kerr and Steph, they know how to win. They
Yeah,
know how
they
to
just
win.
never cease to amaze me with
Speaking
what
of the
they can
Bucks,
do.
real quick, there's a lot of rumors that they're looking for another scorer on the team, and this guy's name has been brought up a lot. So if they can manage to win the cup, it gives them like a confidence boost, and then get a scorer like that, I think they're going to be a really, really dangerous team in the playoffs. I hope that doesn't happen. I really do. But
Well, everybody's been forgetting about my man Chris Middleton. Well, he's definitely not my man. I've always been a Chris Middleton hater, but he's been out like almost 2 whole seasons with, I think it's like ankle surgery, I think is what it is. I think he had ankle surgery on both of his ankles. So, I mean, who knows how well he's going to come back? But when he comes back, it'll be a nice little help, a nice little scoring boost for the Bucks.
Yeah, I think I saw it's still like ramping up at this point. So there's really no timetable of when he'll return, but yeah, certainly would be a boost to that team whenever he comes back. But yeah, man, NBA Cup, it's been cool, and it's very short, so it'll be over soon. That's why I figured we'd talk about it before it's too late. But yeah, it's been fun. All right, well, I kind of want to talk about some rookies because some of these rookies have been completely balling out recently, and I got a couple of names here. Surely, we've seen them in the news, seen some of their highlights, but I think we should start in Philadelphia because I feel like this guy has kind of been the biggest name so far. Jared McCain. Yeah, I mean, he's, I think, benefited a lot from all the injuries that they've suffered, right? Like, no Embiid, no Paul George, Tyrese Maxey all being out. So obviously that, presents an opportunity for him to get some minutes. But, I mean, in those minutes, he's looked very, very good. So, I don't know. I figure we just talk about some rookies, but we can start with Jared McCain, what you've seen. I mean, Toby, yesterday, he was giving Brooklyn some buckets. So I don't know what have you guys seen from the young?
yeah, he might be rookie of the year. It's super early. Like we're only like 15 games into the season, but God, he cooked us. He was not missing any threes. He was driving and dishing and getting a ton of assists. I think he even had a few steals that game too. And he said it himself. He was looking at the camera. He was screaming, "I'm the rookie of the year." So he really wants that award. If he can continue to get the minutes opportunities like he's getting now, I think he has a chance of just running away with it, to be honest with you. And we'll talk about the other rookies too, but if the season ended today, I'm probably giving Jared McCain the rookie of the year. Which is crazy to say. I wasn't guessing that, when we were first talking about the draft picks and who we thought was going to be rookie of the year.
Yeah, I agree. At least the Sixers have played exactly 15 games so far. He's averaging 16 and a half on 48 from the field and 42 from three and 97 from the line. So I don't really know how many free throws he's taken, but 97% is obviously insane. His last 5 games, he's put up 30, 20, 20, 29, and 34. So he's putting up all-star numbers in his last 5 games. And I saw a picture on Instagram of all of the players on the Sixers, like, their like media photos or whatever. And it was like, smile if you're playing well for the Philadelphia 76ers. And Jared McCain's the only guy smiling at every player on the Sixers. And he really is. He's really the only consistent player on the Sixers right now. And he's in and out of the lineup. And even when he is in, he's not really doing much. Paul George has only had a couple of good games. And Tyrese Maxey is putting up bricks. Like, I'm pretty sure he's barely shooting 30% from the field. So, they're all three of those guys are great players. They'll figure it out. But I was gonna say that once they're back and healthy, that Jared McCain's, his minutes and production is gonna go down. But he might have earned himself more minutes, even when those guys are back. He might still be getting in that game over Kyle Lowry and whoever else they got over there at the guard position. But I mean, you can't deny that he's been playing well, and I don't know. If it ended today, he would probably be rookie of the year, which the whole time we've been talking about these guys, I had it in the back of my head like, this guy Jared McCain might be nice, but I can't give him his respect because he's a TikToker and he plays for the Sixers, but he really might be dirty, bro. Like,
Yeah, no, I mean, he was a great shooter in college, and I think that was like his big calling card, like coming into the draft. And he's continued to do that here in the NBA. But I feel like he just looks really comfortable, like as a ball handler as well. Like he looks very poised, looks very patient. Like he doesn't look sped up by the defense really, which is really impressive for a younger guard. He's not just like a catch and shoot 3-point shooter. Like I think he can kind of get his own shot. I wouldn't say he's like the most. He can have a ton of burst, right? Like he's not gonna beat somebody off the dribble, like Ja Morant is, right? But I think some cases he can get his own shot off. You mentioned Kyle Lowry, Justin. I kind of feel like he has some similarities to Kyle Lowry, which is kind of funny. Like I think the way he moves, the way he I think Kyle Lowry plays like a little like hunched over sometimes. I feel like Jared McCain kind of does that sometimes as well.
dude, no, yeah, that guy Jared McCain runs around like he's got a hunchback, dude.
He's very quick to shoot the ball. Like he's very quick with his release and doesn't give any defenders that are closing out like time. Really smart decision maker for the most part. So I don't know. I feel like he's been very solid in a lot of aspects. Like you said, he's averaging 16.5 points per game. That's leading all rookies right now, as well as his 2.5 threes per game. That's also leading all rookies. So I don't know. I mean, I think, like you said, I wouldn't be so shocked even when Joel Embiid and Paul George come back. I think I feel like for him to be in the rotation, it just makes sense, right? Like I think Nick Nurse is going to have to keep playing this guy because he's obviously proven that he can play at this level. And, I mean, it would just be good for his development moving forward as well to just get those minutes this early in his career. So I'm happy he's getting the opportunity. But I guess we can switch coasts now, talk about a guy that Justin picked for his rookie of the year and another guy who's benefiting. It's not even injuries really with the Lakers. He really just kind of played his way into the starting lineup, which is very impressive. I didn't think JJ Redick was going to start this guy, especially this soon in his career. But Dalton Connect with the Los Angeles Lakers, over his last 4 games, which are all starts, he's averaging 23.8 points per game, 4.8 rebounds. He's shooting 60% from the field, 57% from 3, and 86% from the line. So he's been tremendous for LA. I think he was the 17th overall pick coming out of college. and he was a 4-year player. I want to say. So he's I think 23 years old. So that was kind of a knock on Connect. Just being a little bit older. But I mean, he's been fantastic for the Lakers. So I don't know. What have you guys seen from him?
I've seen exactly what I thought I was going to see. Just like I said in that one episode, LeBron, JJ Redick, they're going to find him in his spots, and he's going to cash out. Um, a little bit outside of how he's been playing. LeBron, AD, and JJ Redick have all just really been giving him his respect, his props, his praise. He's just been. All three of those guys seem to love him. I saw a video of him asking JJ Redick to teach him his old like pregame shoot around routine to get in rhythm and all that stuff. And I just think those four, Connect, LeBron, AD, JJ Redick, they all just they have a great connection. LeBron and AD, you already knew that they had a good relationship. LeBron and JJ, you knew they had a great relationship. And I keep seeing this clip of LeBron calling out, not the reporter, but he was just kind of calling out people on social media. He was like, everybody on social media is saying I'm a liar. So he's saying that I lie about everything. But I told you guys last year when Dalton Connect was still at Tennessee, he was like, that guy is nice. And he fell to the Lakers and he was like, hey, man, I was telling the truth the whole time. I don't know what you want from me. So, I think it's just really good. He's in a really good situation. His teammates love him. His coach loves him. It's only going to go up from here. I think he's really going to be a valuable piece to the Lakers. And even when LeBron, maybe he retires, whenever that happens, he's still going to be able to just keep it going. Because if you're just a good catch and shoot guy, like you can play anywhere, play with anybody. And, at least at this point in the career, he's not demanding the ball every possession. He knows how to get to his spots and take what he can get. So I really like Dalton Connect still.
Yeah, I agree with that. Dustin, you were spot on with that prediction. One of those
What can I
first
say?
episodes.
What can I say?
I love the way Dalton Connect plays. He's so efficient. The Lakers are just really good at finding those white guys that just kind of support LeBron. From Caruso to Reeves. But yeah, I agree. I think he's only going to get better, especially if he can stay as efficient as he has been. He's going to get, more minutes, and he's a player that I think is going to be in the league for a while. If he doesn't win Rookie of the Year this year, I think, he's going to continue to get better every year. And yeah, I mean, I don't really have much else to say.
I mean, guy's a
Fair enough.
hooper. That's all there is to say.
Yeah, I mean, he hit 9 threes against the Utah Jazz, which tied a rookie record. If you guys can guess any of the other, there's 3 other players that have done this. If you guys can guess any 3 of the players, I'll give you $1. Because
Nine threes from a rookie.
as a rookie, yeah. There's no
Ray
way
Allen?
you'll guess. There's just no way.
Ray Allen?
It's no one that you would think it is. I'll say that.
All right.
Someone very random.
Is one of them Malik Monk?
It is not Malik Monk. Do you have
Nah,
any?
I don't know. No, I have
know.
no idea.
All right. Last year, this actually happened. Keontae George of the Utah Jazz, he did it against the Warriors. In 2017, Yogi Ferrell hit 9
What up,
threes
Yogi?
Shout out Yogi Ferrell.
for the Dallas Mavericks against Portland. And then in 2010, Rodrigue Beaubois, also for the Dallas Mavericks, hit 9 threes against the Warriors. He had 40 points in that game. So, yeah.
What's that guy's name?
Rodrigue Beaubois.
What up, Rod?
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. elite company.
Yeah.
Dalton Connect is
Yeah.
with this. But no, I mean, I think if nothing else, I think he's a lights out shooter and will be for his whole career. But I feel like he's more than that. I think he's really good at like attacking closeouts. Like a lot of players try and run him off the 3-point line, obviously because they know he's a great 3-point shooter. But he's got a nice little, mid range floater game. I think he's a solid cutter. I think coming out of the corner just moves well without the basketball. And I don't know. I think I'm just glad he's getting an opportunity because I think I said when we were making our predictions, like I didn't really know who's going to get minutes as a rookie because this draft class was just so random, up in the air. But I don't know. I think this changes the whole rookie of the year race. I mean, if he's a starter for the rest of the season, that again, he's going to be in contention for rookie of the year for sure, especially if he keeps playing like this. So yeah, man, shout out Dalton Connect. Yeah, another piece the Lakers have got. I think just being in the same draft class as Bronny, I feel like he was kind of overshadowed in that sense a little bit. But I'm glad that he's getting the recognition because, like you said, Justin, like he's a great player and deserves that. So, yeah, shout out Dalton Connect. Another
Connect
great-
4.
Yes, Connect 4. But so now I want to talk just quickly about these two in Memphis, Zach Edey and Jalen Wells. Not a very notable name, Jalen Wells, but I wanted to highlight him because he's been playing very well for Memphis. So he was a second round pick this year. I think he was the 36th pick, I want to say. But he's averaging 11.7 points per game, which is third among rookies. And he's also third in three-pointers made as well. So he's been very solid. I think injuries with some of the Grizzlies players, like John Morant's been out for a little bit. Gigi Jackson, who was a rookie last year, another second-round pick for Memphis, he's been injured. Marcus Smart, I think, has been injured a couple of games as well. So he's kind of getting an opportunity to play, which is good. And I think he's definitely showcasing that he is an NBA player. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's for Jalen Wells. Shout out him. But Zach Edey, who was my Rookie of the Year pick, I think, I wouldn't say anything spectacular, but I think he's kind of lived up to what I expected him to do. He started the season with some foul trouble, right? Like he had some issues defensively, picked up a lot of fouls early in games. But right now he's fifth in scoring. He's first in rebounding. And interesting little thing, he only attempted 2 threes in college. He made 1. So in 4 years, he only attempted 2 threes. He's already made 6 this season. So all those who said Zach Edey couldn't shoot, watch out because he will let it fly. So, yeah, Memphis, who's been very good in the draft the past couple of years, like John Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr., Desmond Bane. I mentioned Gigi Jackson. They get 2 more guys here, and they've been very solid contributors.
Yeah. Jalen Wells specifically, I feel like, he's not going to go out there and at least, right now in his rookie season, he's not going to go out there and drop, 25 or 30, I don't think. But he's a consistent, 10, 11, 12, or maybe even I'm looking at his past couple games here. He had 14, 8, 15, 16, and 9. So, it's a pretty consistent, 10 to 15 points per game. So that's good, especially as a rookie. I don't really know anything about him. Couldn't tell you where he went to school. I didn't even know he was a second round draft pick. But, our boy Spencer, he's always talking about that guy, Jalen Wells. He said he's got one of the purest jumpers he's ever seen. That's exact quote from Spencer. So, he seems like he's a pretty good player. But Zach Edey, I don't know. I don't want to say I'm disappointed because I feel like he could have been a little bit more dominant and just if you need a bucket, you just give it to him down low, he'll get a bucket. But the Grizzlies have a lot of big man depth. They got Jaren Jackson, they got that guy Santi Aldama. Um,
Brandon Clark.
I want to say Steven Adams is a Rocket.
Yeah,
Correct?
he's in
Okay, so
Houston. They got Jay Huff
um,
though. Jay Huff.
yeah, this guy Jay Huff. But the one thing I want to say about Zach Edey is I think in 3 to 5 years, regardless of whether or not he's on this Grizzlies still, I think he's going to be dominant. I think he's going to be um damn, I had a perfect player comp and now I can't remember who I was going to say.
Hmm.
Damn. Either way, the Grizzlies for me, just a future outlook, they might be in a tough spot here. They have a lot of young guys who have yet to receive, non-rookie contract extensions. They're going to have to pay G.G. Jackson. They're going to have to pay Zach Edey. They're going to have to pay Santi Aldama. Sooner or later, these guys are going to want to get paid, and I don't think the Grizzlies are going to be able to do it. So, the Grizzlies have a lot of young guys. They have a fantastic young core, but I think in a couple years, some of those guys might be leaving, and we're going to see their talents on an even broader scale for different teams. I don't want to be a hater or a Debbie Downer,
Interesting.
but I really think that's what might happen.
Yeah,
All right.
it's tough. I mean, I think with the new CBA, it's just tougher and tougher to, keep talent on your roster. But, they still got some time. They're still on their rookie contract, so they still got a couple more years. And I'm sure they want to achieve a championship before that. Those decisions need to be made. But, yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to highlight those two in Memphis. I feel like those two have been playing solid. I guess I have one more guy I wanted to mention. Stephon Castle. I think you talked about him a little bit ago, Justin, saying how he's like one of the better players already on the team. But I think he's been really good as well. I think he was a really good pick for them. Just like a kind of like a point guard, shooting guard, whatever you want to play him at, who looks, again, very comfortable out there as a ball handler, very poised, very patient, good decision maker. I think his jumper is legit as well. But I don't know. What can you say about Steph Castle in San Antonio?
Well, I'm looking at his basketball reference right now, and that jumper might need some work because he's only shooting 28% from three. But he's a rookie, different range, different 3-point line. It's tough for everybody to adjust. But I think the last time we talked about the Spurs, they weren't doing, spectacularly, but they weren't doing terrible. I checked either earlier this morning or last night, and they are 8-8. So we might be seeing a Spurs playoff run. But yeah, I like Stephon Castle. I think he brings a lot more to the defensive side of the ball. And at least for right now, as a rookie, he's just really like a hustle guy, a glue guy. Like he's going to be diving for loose balls. He'll be, making sure that he's running back on defense, making sure, you know, if he's got a switch on defense, he could probably guard most players on the court. I don't know. He's probably not going to be able to stop a center down low, but I feel like he could probably guard 1 through 4 on a smaller power forward. And yeah, like you said, I think he's good with the ball in his hands. He doesn't make any silly mistakes. And yeah, once he gets a couple years of experience under his belt, and if he stays with the Spurs, I think he'll be, if not if he's not a starter, he'll be, very solid role player, 6 man of the year contention, stuff like that in a couple years. So I really like him. I like really all these rookies that we've talked about so far. I don't really know much about Jalen Wells, and I really wanted to be a Jared McCain hater, but he's been playing so well. Like, I can't deny that he's been playing great. So I really like these guys specifically. It's a shame that the first two picks in the draft really haven't, I haven't heard almost anything about them so far. But
Zach Reese
these
is saying he's
guys,
doing his thing. Don't
is
sleep
he?
on him.
Because I am sleeping on him. I haven't been informed on him. Nobody on ESPN's talking about him. I haven't seen nothing on the Instagrams, on the Twitters. So, I don't know. I don't really know.
No, I think he's been good down there in Atlanta. I think the whole Atlanta team has been, we talked about Dyson Daniels last week, so like he's having a kind of a breakout year, Jalen Johnson. So, but I think he's been solid. I don't know if he's, like the number one pick, stand out like Wemby was last year, but he's definitely doing his thing, I think, and he's going to be a piece moving forward. But Toby, do you have anything to say about Reese Shea or Steph Castle?
Well, I think he's a really good defender, like Justin was saying. I think and that's something that I think, like players, if you have the raw talent, you're gonna learn like new things and get even better as your career goes on. So I think he's a really good fit for the Spurs, efficiency wise, like out of the way, like get efficiency out of the way. I think he seems pretty comfortable. Like he plays pretty maturely, and he does a little bit of everything: assists, rebounds, plays hard defense. He'll score, 10 to 12 points at this point, and that could probably go up. So I think he'll win the Rookie of the Year. At this point, probably not. But I think like Justin said, I think he's going to have a long career, and he could be a lethal role player, I think, as his career goes on.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, I'm excited. I think this is a fun rookie class for sure, and I'm sure we'll check in, a little bit down the line as the season progresses. But just wanted to highlight some of these guys because they've had a lot of standout performances recently. So figured we'd talk about them and give them some flowers. But yeah, that's all I got. All these rookies hooping. Shout out James Harden, and the NBA Cup is underway, and soon enough we'll be in Vegas watching some teams compete for some money. So
yeah, I'll be in Vegas. I'll be there. I'll be in Vegas watching it.
right.
No, but real quickly before we go, I believe it was my boy Gilbert Arenas on his podcast. They were talking about Alex Sarr, the number 2 pick. Gilbert Arenas had said that he needs to stop playing like Kevin Durant and play more like Giannis Antetokounmpo. And I think I agree with that. I feel like he's trying to do too much from the outside, and he needs to utilize his size and athleticism and just start bullying kids.
I think this is Alex Sarr, you said, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I think, one of the big things with him coming into the league is that he's a little bit smaller. So I think if he can put on some weight as time goes on, I think you'll see a change in him playing with a little bit more like physicality. But I think he's going to be a good player moving forward. I think the Wizards in general, they got a couple of rookies over there, so I think all those guys are going to, continue to
so bad.
continue.
Let me
so bad.
I want to say this too. Giannis, when coming out of his rookie year, nobody was really talking about him.
Yeah.
And then when he started putting on muscle, I feel like that's when he started to dominate. So I would like rookie year doesn't mean everything as far as the career goes. Like you never know who could have a breakout season. So maybe that's all he needs to do is just put on some pounds and start dominating.
Yeah. I'm sure he will, top 2 pick. So, he's got some expectations, but I think Washington obviously saw something in him and will continue to develop into a good player. So, yeah. I guess shout out Russell Westbrook, 200 career triple doubles.
Just about to say.
We talked about James
It's
Harden.
insane.
Yeah, I know. And to do it on the same team as Jokic is pretty funny. Yeah. Imagine if that team just stayed together in Oklahoma City. What could have been? What could have been?
Well, I don't know. I don't really know what could have been because if you had to pay James Harden and those other two guys already had a contract extension, they would have been playing with high schoolers on the bench. Like they
Oh,
wouldn't have been able to afford anybody else.
when you got 3 MVPs, what else do you need?
Hey man, I suppose you're right.
I don't know. But yeah. Shout out Russ. Shout out Harden. Shout out all these rookies. And yeah. Anything else you got? I don't know, I got nothing.
The Knicks should try and trade for Kyle Kuzma. I saw Kyle Kuzma is on the trading block. The Knicks should make a move for him.
The Knicks keep making trades.
I mean, either we trade for Kuzma or we just wait around and see what happens with Giannis and get him over here in New York. I would gladly trade McCall and OG for Giannis just immediately.
Here we go.
Giannis, McCall, you could take Deuce McBride, you take a couple picks.
I mean,
Keep it with
Justin, we'll give you
Giannis.
Cam Johnson. Cam Johnson's been hooping on the Nets.
I don't want Cam Johnson. I want Cam Thomas.
Cam Johnson is putting up like 20 plus a game.
Yeah, for the Brooklyn Nets.
Oh my gosh. Here we go. Well, all right. Well, yeah, another good episode, I think. Yeah. I don't know what we'll talk about next week, but we'll get something going here.
And
Happy
as you can
Thanksgiving.
see,
yeah.
I don't know if we'll be coming out with another video before then, but if not, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Enjoy your time with your families and eat some turkey.
Yes, sir. Yeah. All righty. Well, good stuff. Good to have Toby back.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
Good to be back.
But until next time, we'll be seeing you.